And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of You Get What You Get. I'm Ricky Hampton with my great friends Tree McDougal and Tim Turner coming to you on a Wednesday evening edition of You Get What You Get. Hope everybody's doing well. Uh, Good to see you guys. Let's just hop right into it. There was some big news today. The passing of a legend. The reason we're doing what we're doing now, the reason you see all this out here in the media world today, the passing of Ted Turner at the age of 87. And Tim, I just want to start with you. And first, before I do that, welcome everybody out there watching tonight. Please send us your questions and comment. But and amazingly, Tim, I think this story, I know it's a lot going on in the world, but I think this story has been kind of undersold today. The passing of the great uh, Ted Turner.
Yeah, it was CNN, except on that channel, where it's been
Yeah,
wall to wall Ted Turner from sunrise to sunset from when they initially put it out there this morning. It was huge, absolutely huge. I watched CNN when it was in a three-story mansion on Techwood Drive, just up the street from Georgia Tech, and that was CNN. The bottom floor was CNN, the entire news operation. The middle floor was TBS, and that's what the superstation was, and everybody became a Braves fan across the country. And on the top floor, especially it got really crazy there on Saturdays, it was Georgia Championship Wrestling. So you can imagine who came in the door on those Saturday mornings at CNN. It was Mama and them, up there watching, Gordon Soley, and you got to see Dusty Rhodes when he first came out there, when he was just starting out in his career. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. It was good to see Ted come in there. I was an intern in the sports department by way of Fred Hickman. He used to cover Hawks games, and Fred and I became friends, and he just said, come on over. And it was just seeing it come out of the ground. There's so many great people that work there. And it wasn't unusual to see Ted rolling up in there at night around 10 o'clock. He'll bring by the Falcons owner at the time. He brought in Dave Winfield when he was trying to sign him, and he brought in Pete Rose when he was trying to sign him. You see them come walking through there, and got a chance to talk to Pete and told him I was a switch hitter there in college, and he started talking to me about hitting tips, and I don't think I heard a word he said because all I thought about was freaking talking to Pete Rose. that was my mindset. So, but it was just a bunch of great people in that sports department. You see Craig Sager started out, became a name there. Dan Patrick was the person who started out there. You saw people like that who rolled through there. It was just a really great time to see people who are really energetic, and it was really new. And he was on to something before everybody else was. He used to talk about narrowcasting as opposed to broadcasting. And what he meant then was there would be a TV channel for everybody's particular like. And this was, 40 some odd years ago, and it's like it's come true. You can find a channel for anything that you want now.
Yeah, I saw your post today. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I saw your post today on Facebook about him, and yeah. So growing up in Atlanta, well familiar with Ted Turner and all that he created there. So yes, it was. Yeah, I've been gone all day, so I just got your message about it just before we got on here. So yeah, it was. He did so much for the city, but also just for television in general. Yeah.
Yeah, and tell a couple of things that was very interesting. Number one, I didn't know the Braves tried to sign Pete Rose.
Oh yeah, that was part of his pitch. He would bring athletes through there, like this is my baby, that kind of thing. So it was nothing for him to see him doing that on a given night. So he would personally do it. It wasn't like he sent his general manager or anybody else like that through there. He would come in there and show them around, just to give them an idea of what the possibilities of expanding their brand would be like.
And that was at the Omni. CNN was the Hawks played in the Omni, and CNN was in the same building, right?
Well, that came later. It was at a 3-story mansion next to Georgia Tech. That's all it was, a house, a big house with a bunch of equipment, and it's crammed on each floor. Then it moved to the Omni and took over CNN Center, and that's where the headquarters was for the most part. But Turner built everything else around that mansion: Cartoon Network, True TV, TNT, all those other networks that were part of his empire are right there off of Highway 85. You can see the brands as you go down the highway there in Atlanta. That's in between all of that, behind that or inside that area is a mansion where it initially started, which I think is now just for administration, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow. And he was married to Jane Fonda.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And he was. Tim said, "Oh yeah." Uh-huh.
Well, I didn't realize when they got married and that kind of thing, because you see Jane now, she's not bad looking now. She's a spitfire. She is out just incredible. I've heard her on these podcasts I listen to with Conan O'Brien, and she's a live wire. But looking at back in the day when in '95 when they won the World Series, she's there at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium next to Ted and Jimmy Carter when the Braves won their first World Series. So Ted was like smitten from the minute he met her, and they stayed together for 10 years. She was a part of Atlanta sports history, because Ted owned the Hawks, the Braves, and he brought the second NHL team to Atlanta, the Thrashers. Of course, it didn't survive. That team now is the Winnipeg Jets franchise. But for one day, I mean, he was too much of a hands-on guy. For one day, he was he took over the Braves as a manager until baseball commissioner said, that's not going to work. So, so they had to get rid of that. But he was the one that started this thing where they had these. He was a showman. He started these things where the guys had these corny, instead of their real names, they had these corny names on the back of the uniforms. And they signed a guy, Andy Messerschmidt, who wore number 17, where they had channel on the back of his jersey, because at the time WTBS was WTCG in Atlanta, channel 17. So he had channel 17 on his jersey, and other people had nicknames. This is before the USFL when they had "He Hate Me," before that kind of stuff put up there.
I remember the Goodwill games that he founded. What can you tell me about the Goodwill games? I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, that was
So
like
he founded the Goodwill games.
It was like an alternative. It's like I guess that like alternative halftime they have at the Super Bowl last year, but it really wasn't that. He was all about peace and the environment and all this other stuff. And it was they used to have, but it was an Olympics. It only lasted, I think, a couple of them, because you really can't compete with athletes wanting to go to the real Olympics. But he created that. The guy was an environmentalist. He owned over 1 million acres of land. He's one of the largest landowners. Buffalo was, he was a big buffalo preserve guy. He wanted to preserve them. The photo that you probably saw today, Tree, was me standing with Ted in Ted's Montana Grill downtown. With and then they serve buffalo in there, and it's like, yeah, bro.
I was going to say, I've had the buffalo burger there, so.
Was it good?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's one of us, because I wasn't even going out and said no beef. We're going beef here.
That was a long time ago, before I stopped eating.
Okay. He's always was a cool dude. Always, he always had a twinkle in his eye and that kind of thing. So it was good to be around him a lot of the times. So it's a sad day to see what has become of CNN. I saw these guys who are running it now, talking talking about wanting to preserve the legacy, but we know what it's going to become
Yeah.
because we know who the owner is. So let's not play us for being idiots. I'm just sad that he, granted, it was a good deal for him. I think he sold it for $1 billion. So I don't think that that's no chump change. And you can do what you want to after that. So,
I'm sorry, Tim. I know he made good money off the Braves too. I mean, he was not hurting financially for any reason. But yeah, man, that though I tell you, you took me way back with some of the stuff you're talking about because it was TBS, which you could get the Hawks and the Braves and everything, and it was a station out of Chicago that you could get.
WGN out of Chicago, WOR out of New York. You can get those
three super stations.
I became a Cubs fan behind that. Yeah.
Yep.
But isn't that the station that always had the ads? I'm sorry, wasn't it the station that always had the ads from Mr. V's? Was that when they used to have the ads from Mr. V's? Yes. Did you know about Mr. V's, Ricky?
No comment.
I was gonna say you was hesitating about that.
You can't go to Atlanta and not. Yeah, those were great time, man. That's when Atlanta really Atlanta's always been a great city, but it just really was stepping up this game right around that time. And I think Dominique Wilkins gets a lot of credit for bringing the swag to Atlanta.
Oh yeah,
I thought Tim brought the swag. I'm sorry, was it Dominique? I thought it was Tim. I mean, I grew up there, but it was just Atlanta then. But then when Dominique and then Tim, that just brought it up to a whole new level right there.
Yeah, it was the late summer of '79 when I said, "Okay, Atlanta, I'm here, everybody."
And that's when I left and said, I left in '78 and came back.
So I was like, I'm here. That's what's up. But Ted was a guy who just loved what he was doing, and I put there. He broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball, where he had Bill Lucas, who was part of the Braves organization in Milwaukee and in Atlanta. But you don't have to hire, brother. But he signed off on it. Bill Lucas becoming the first Black general manager in baseball, and he did a great job while he was leading the Braves. And people want to try to say that it was a negotiation with Bob Horner's agent. They're so stressed, Lucas, that he had that stress.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
And it's like people are trying to try to tag him with that, but it's like that's wrong. You can't do that. You can't do that. As much as I didn't like his agent, and I thought that he tried to play hardball with the Braves. Don't saddle a man with some kind of foolishness like that. That was just wrong. And Bill didn't have the job very long, though. Yeah.
Well, speaking of swag, let's bring this brother in. Our good friend Tony McLean of Outside the Box MLB and the BASN Newsroom, one of the great baseball writers in America, and just a legendary sports writer. And Tony has his own radio show now in New Haven, Connecticut. Tony, tell us a little bit about that before you get out of here. And I actually want to get you on here to talk a little NBA tonight.
Oh, sure.
But
first of all, me and swag in the same sentence is that might be pushing. Right, brother. That might be pushing this a little bit. Shows called Outside the Box. We're on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern on WNHH-LP FM in New Haven, and we're also on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, anywhere the law allows, they'll put us on, and we try to hit a whole bunch of things. Rick, of course, has been on a couple of times as well. We're actually no show tomorrow because we're doing something at the station, but on Tuesday one of my former colleagues from back in the day, Dama Mori, is going to be on to talk about the passing of John Sterling, who, of course, longtime Yankee guy, but he had his Atlanta roots with both the Hawks and the Braves. And matter of fact, one of my favorite calls of his was, if you remember, 4th of July, 1985. Rick Camp. That's still my favorite, my most favorite. Well, Rick Camp hit the one and only home run of his whole career in that what was it, a 19-inning game that's ended like about 4:30 a.m. on July the 5th.
Right. It started on the 4th, went to the 5th, and then scared everybody within in the neighborhood because they promised fireworks at the end of the game.
Yeah. I was 2 seconds away from turning that game off before Camp hit the home run. I was like, let me just at least see the last out and then whatever. But then I can still see Danny Heap going when he hit the ball over the wall.
Rick, the video was out there of Sterling's call. He said, if Camp does anything up here, I'll eat my hat.
It was to be like the wackiest game of all time, and it was nuts.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, I know you guys have been discussing the NBA playoffs on your show, and just your overall thoughts of what you've seen in the first round, and now we're early into the second round.
Well, I guess they came out with the most watched first round, I guess, since they've been keeping the records. So like 33 years, this was the most watched first round in over 30 years. To me, this was the thing I remember the most about this one. This was the first round of the road dogs, because all of these teams, Orlando coming into Detroit to win,
Atlanta,
stealing a game in New York. There was very few, with the exception of the Cleveland-Toronto series. Road Dog took at least 1 or 2 games in both series, and I've run out of stuff to say about the T-Wolves. I actually picked the T-Wolves. I thought it was going to be in 7, but I think they. I think the Timberwolves live rent-free in the Nuggets' head. At least they have the last couple of years.
Well, see, that's what the deal is with the Timberwolves. I thought they would cook with DiVincenzo and Ant being out. I said, there's no way they're going to get past. There's no way they can survive that. And they're showing they can do that. Now, San Antonio's already gotten beaten. They're down 0-1. And the deal is San Antonio survives, but they look up the street. Oklahoma City owns the Spurs. I mean, that is their kryptonite. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
The thing, I think the thing with the Spurs, if you're going to get them, you better get them now, because I think they're the scariest team in the next 4 or 5 years. If I had this running joke with Ricky that I hope that there's a Fat Burger near in San Antonio, so Wemby can put on some poundage, and because they're going to beat on him. He's going to get beat up on, especially in the playoffs. But I think the thing is, look, OKC is still the champs till you beat them, no doubt about that. But the Spurs have a nice young squad. You've got Wemby, who's still really trying to find himself. But to me, they're like the scariest team in the league. I think we'll see OKC and San Antonio go at it a few times over the next 4 or 5 years, barring injuries and trades and all that other stuff.
So tell me, what are your thoughts on Wemby's progress this year?
I think, I truly think that, I think he's going to take his game to the next level. The fact that he's, part Olajuwon and part Ralph Sampson in regard to his, being able to shoot whatever. I think the scary thing is that he's only scratched the surface of what he can do. I don't, I think also I don't want to do too much hyperbole because we still haven't seen a full season from him yet. We missed a bunch of games this year. Of course, was out with the blood clot last year. But if you ever get 82 games, or if they go to the 75 games schedule that they keep talking about, I hope they don't, but that's another story. But if you ever get a full season out of him, I really feel like he can be one of those guys that can win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. And, you got to go back to Michael for something like that. But I think the potential's there. And he's a baby. He's still a babe. And what is it, like 21, 22?
Right.
Yeah.
As
I
long
saw
as he's
something
a-
about, they said he was too emotional. I guess he was tearing up at the end of games. And do you guys have any thoughts on that? I'm like, so why I don't know, maybe men are not supposed to be emotional or
I think, I think that might wind up, it could be a strength and it could be a weakness. I think it's a strength because, the NBA players seem to get a bad rap, with the load management and the endorsements and like how everybody keeps trying to compare eras and all this other stuff. The one thing that bothered me during the whole first round is that you still have these folks that are trying to do the whole Jordan James thing. And I'm like, can we just can I just appreciate both of them?
Mm.
I mean, look, the problem I have is that the Jordan fans try to demonize LBJ, and the LBJ fans do the same thing in regard to Jordan. I mean, look, appreciate both of them. Look, as Ricky knows, I'm a degenerate Knick fan most of my life, and I was actually one of the few folks that I appreciated what Jordan was able to do. Now I hated what he did do to the Knicks. What seemed like to be every May, but you still had to. It was sort of. I always looked at Jordan, and I'm going to date myself, like how Earl Monroe was back in the day. The Knicks and the then Baltimore Bullets. It wasn't an NBA playoff unless those two teams went at each other, and Walt Frazier and Earl used to go at it every playoff until they eventually traded for him. But my thing is, you have to really appreciate these guys and what they're able to bring. To me, one of the things that sets the NBA apart is, you survived Russell retiring, you survived Wilt retiring, you survived Kareem retiring, you survived Michael's 17 retirements. All these guys, the league has sustained itself. Are there certain things about the modern game that I dislike? Yeah, but end of the day, I look at it more as they're just continuing what was laid, 40, 50 years ago. And the sad thing is a lot of these guys won't be appreciated until they're gone. And I think we got to enjoy them while they're here,
Well, I know today it's so weird that you said that about the Jordan and the LeBron situation, because there was a rather spirited conversation on the job today on this very thing, and trying to talk about the championships and how LeBron was a vagabond to go, he went to different cities to get his championships, where Jordan stayed in one city and got his. And I said, well, two of those he didn't really earn because he cheated, because he pushed off on Scott, on the dude for Utah, and he pushed off on Elo with the other one. So it's like, I can't get with that. So I was playing devil's advocate for both of them when I said if LeBron would have played in the 80s, he'd come off the bench. He'd be like Terry Durod for the Celtics. Ooh. And I just wanted to see a dude. I want to see a guy's head explode, and it did. But
yeah. I'm sure Terry felt that too, sitting wherever he's sitting and watching it as well.
I think all that's a product of social media today. Everybody puts up their their little posts with facts that is going to make their guy look better than the other guy. But I've always, here in Detroit was Larry Bird. I mean, I hated him, but man, I love the fact that.
Rick, I hated him first. I hated him first.
But you gotta respect. You gotta respect.
Oh, man.
What
Yes.
those guys brought to the table.
The thing I what I don't like is that it's like you have to choose a side. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have to. I mean, you know, my argument has always been if you put a gun to my head, I think Magic Johnson is the greatest of all time, personally.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know. Here
Man.
my argument was always if you look at from 79 to 89, the Lakers were in the finals 8 times in that period of time. Of those 8, they won 5. And the team that wound up representing the Western Conference those 2 times they didn't make it, the Rockets, they had to beat the Lakers. And my other argument is when Larry got, when Doc got his first title, who did he go through? Magic. When Larry got one of his titles, who did he have to go through? Magic. When Isaiah finally got his first one, who did he go through? Magic. The bald-headed guy from Chicago, who did he get his first title up against? Magic. That's the one that's my standard argument for him being the GOAT. And plus the fact, how many other 6'9" point guards did you know of in the NBA? He said, for as great as Mike was, the league really turned around when Bird and Magic came in. That's when it was a perfect storm because Stern came in, changed the way we thought about the NBA. They pushed the players instead of pushing the teams, and the game changed because of those 2 guys. And again, this is not to take anything away from Michael. It's just that my thing has always been with sports, it's an era thing. Ali was perfect for his era. Jim Brown was perfect for his era. Dr. J was perfect for his era. Michael was perfect for his era because you think of how we look at sports in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, and the 90s. And when you got to Michael, it became, he took advantage of it being a global game. Ali, I've only had one sports idol in my life, and it's Ali, and it had nothing to do with what he had to do in the ring. It had everything to do with what he did. Jim Brown was perfect for his era. I'll even go as far as Jackie Robinson was perfect for his era because someone had to be the first. And I always look at it more on a historical level. And I don't try to. What bothers me a lot is that they trash a lot of the modern guys, but I'm like, enjoy and you have to enjoy them. Just put everything into context. That's all, and that gets lost a lot of times.
You mentioned Magic, being the common denominator, but wasn't there another tall dude on that team, number 33, that had something to do with some of it?
And see, he get in the GOAT conversation, he gets lost too because
Kareem was awesome.
Yeah, look, the single greatest offensive weapon in all of professional sports, the sky hook. I can't think of another thing that you can compare that to. I mean, you can't, the Packers power sweep, not really. Hank Aaron's consistency, you could make the argument there, and it was done in the sense of they were trying to take away his game. Because remember, they banned the dunk when he was a freshman. So he said, okay, no problem. And him, like most black athletes do, they innovate and change the game. And like I said, I will argue that is the single greatest offensive weapon in all of professional sports. I can't think of anything else you can compare that sky hook to.
I was looking for that proper reverence, that pause after Hank Aaron.
Oh, look, Hank, look, I don't know, it's weird. As great as he is, and it's funny because today is Willie Mays' birthday. As great as Hank Aaron is, he almost gets lost in the shuffle too.
Yeah.
And what's crazy to me is even if you take away the 755, he still got 3,000 hits and a bunch of and runs scored and games played and all this other stuff. And not to mention the fact that he was one of the last vestiges of the Negro League, which started all of this. So yeah, Hank, Hank's right up there. Hank's right up there with all of those guys.
Hey,
I'm glad you said that because that's a trigger thing for Tim. Right, Tim?
No, go ahead.
Don't let me find you.
I got chewed up myself once. So,
Tony,
I'm just
I can
saying.
see he was lacing
He
up
came
the
back with
boxing
something.
gloves there.
Ooh, man, I didn't think I was going to recover.
Yeah.
Just get everybody caught up. You're watching. You get what you get. We're on with Tony McLean, Outside the Box, MLBBros.com, BASN Newsroom. A great writer, great journalist, and a friend of the show. I do want to get back to these playoffs. I personally think everybody's playing for second place because I think OKC is going to trounce everybody that comes out of the East. If my beloved Pistons happen to make it, they're going to get run over. But so is any of these other teams that come out of there. The only team I think they got a chance to beat them is San Antonio, who have beat them.
Mhm.
Yeah. The thing is, it's just the difference between the regular season and the postseason. And they, as we've already seen, when they get to the postseason, they just turn it up a notch. And they do it even with Williams being out. I mean, they don't even have to rush him back. That's the thing. He could just say, "Hey, we'll get you in the next." He could almost sit him out this next series, this series with the Lakers. Now, unless I always thought that LeBron's greatest feat was taking that first Cleveland team to the finals with Daniel Marshall and Gibson and Ilgauskas. But if he can, I'll say this much. If he can get by OKC, that'll be the ninth miracle of all time because they're just, to me, it's theirs to lose right now because they're just at a high. I think they still see the specter of getting knocked out in the first round a couple of years ago when they had the best record. And I really feel like they, even with the title, I think they still have a chip on their shoulder and they want to, I think they're playing for not so much legacy, but I think they're trying to play for, we want to clearly be looked upon as the best team in the league right now. And between the balance that they have and what's scary is, now they actually have a lottery pick on top of that this year because of one of the trades. So, barring injury or free agency or whatever, they're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I was listening to the people were talking about some simulations today because the Hawks have a high draft pick, and they said one of the simulations is they would get the Clippers pick, and that would be number 4. So you already got a loaded Oklahoma City team, and they get to pick the 4th best player in the draft. It's like it's not fair at all.
Yeah. It's like when the Lakers had the number 1 pick. I think it was 2 years in a row, and they wound up getting Magic, and then a couple of years later they wound up getting Worthy. So yeah, I know they're trying to improve stuff on the on the lottery, and they're trying to do this anti-tanking thing. But I think to me, it's like the team with the worst record should have no lower than the 3rd pick overall. You had I think the Wizards had like the 7th pick a few years ago, and they had the worst record. And you got that just bastardizes the whole lottery. I get it that it is a lottery or whatever, but the team with the worst record shouldn't be picking outside of the lottery. At the very least, they should have like the 3rd, maybe 4th pick. But And also with tanking, they got to me they got to hit these GMs in the wallet. You know, if they can prove that they're tanking, fine them, hit them for some cash, and then make it so that they can't so that they won't tank, I guess.
Well, with the system they have that's been proposed, the teams with the worst 3 records only get 2 balls,
Mm-hmm.
and the teams after that, I think they bring 14 teams in.
It's now 16 now with the
16.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The teams with the worst record get 2 balls. After that, teams get 3 balls, and then the 2 teams that were the 9-10 seeds that got into the playoffs, they get 2 balls.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a lot of equability within the city, and I can tell Tim doesn't like it just because.
No.
Tony, I've known him 40 years, so I can tell. He's almost like my wife, man. I can just tell. Oh, he don't like that.
Nope.
What's the problem with that, Tim?
It's like they should go ahead and do it in inverse order, and when they could, they don't even have to categorically prove it when teams are tanking. When they see that you're not trying to win, they should go ahead and automatically say, okay, no, we're gonna put you back at you're gonna be number 14 in this thing. We see that you're trying to lose as many games as possible. You'll be number 14. End of discussion. When you're sitting players who are healthy with like about a month to go in the game in the season, and everybody knows what you're doing, knowing you have no chance to make the playoffs, you just want to get get your record as worse as it possibly can be. That's just wrong. Yeah. You can't do that. You shouldn't be able to do that. Forget load management. There's no load management when you got 12 games left. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And what makes it even crazier, the fact that they're even talking about cutting the season down to like 7. I mean, leave that alone. I mean, it's been 82 forever. There's no need to cut the season. I mean, I understand why, but nah.
What's the rationale for that?
Well, it's I guess they're talking about how it's load management and all this other stuff, but at the risk of being the old guy in the barbershop, back in the day when men were men, everybody played 82 games. I mean, there was an instance. Put it this way, there was an instance. Somebody showed that the Knicks and the Bulls played each other the very last game of the season. The seeds were all set and everything like that, but Jordan played, Ewing played. Basically, everybody played. Yes, it was a quote-unquote meaningless game, but see, now you're seeing instances where teams are sitting guys. And there was an example this year going into the last game of the season where I want to say going into the last game, Orlando was actually the 4th or 5th seed, and because I forget how the scenario was, but because they didn't play their guys and all this other stuff, and they went from 5 to 8, and they had to play in that god awful playing tournament.
Playing game, yeah.
So tell me this. Speaking of sitting out, Joel Embiid is not playing in this game tonight. I mean, I'm never going to question the guy's injuries or whatever, but I mean, I just couldn't see Patrick Ewing sitting game 2 of the playoffs. I'm sure they're trying. This guy's definitely not Patrick Ewing in terms of stamina and strength and health. So maybe they're like, we're going to concede this game tonight, try to get him healthy for when we go back to Philly. But would you have tried to see what he had?
This is just my thought. I'm thinking they're saying, you know what? Even though we need you tonight, we're probably going to need you more in them 2 games at home. So I think they took. I think basically they took a mulligan. Not to me, that's a gamble. That's a big gamble because you don't want to go back home down 0-2. I'm like you, Rick. I go back and forth, and I never try to disparage anybody that says that they're hurt or whatever. But if I'm Jason Tatum, I hate to say it, but it's like, how do you sit out a game 7? How do you sit out a game 7, man? And then literally an hour later say, "Oh, I would have played game 1." Without game 7, you don't have game 1, man.
He wasn't supposed to even be playing at all? Wasn't that
it depends, because see, I was actually shocked that he came back from that Achilles so quick.
Exactly.
And the fact that and he actually had been playing well. That's one of the reasons why I thought Boston would be the Eastern Conference finalist. But I think he sat out. I think he sat out in game 5 or is it game 6 in Philly? Or it was one of those. It was one of the early games in the Sixer series that he sat out, and then literally 3 hours before game 7, he said, "Nah, I'm not." And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I was surprised to see him on the bench.
Yeah,
Right, but yeah.
Yeah, man. I guess we all remember Willis Reed going out there for 5 minutes. Yeah.
I'm really tired of that one clip of one man coming out of there. It's like, watching Paul Pierce get in the wheelchair during the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
But it's a legend, right?
But and the Jordan flu game as well.
Yeah, when he pushed off on the dude in Utah. I mean, let him slide on that one. So
yeah, I know.
But these guys are I guess they're trying to say they're bigger, stronger, faster, and they're more prone, more susceptible to injury. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, I get that, but I'm sorry, it's been 82 forever. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I really hope. Put it this way, I'll compromise. If you cut it down to 75, get rid of the play-in tournament.
Okay.
Get rid of the play-in tournament. Then maybe. Yeah. It's like with the NFL. They want to go to 20. No problem. Get rid of the Thursday night games.
Okay, so you're causing trouble because they're not going to do that. It's
I know that. Look.
They're gonna come after you, man.
They're talking about their money.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And see, what's funny is they're actually renegotiating the current TV contract now. That's why the schedule's not out, because apparently there was a opt out 2 years in for that contract, and now that they have their relationship with ESPN, now they want to redo everything, because you noticed how if you watched any of the draft, they literally, if you watched the NFL Network broadcast, they made mention of the whole Vrabel Rossini thing, but with ESPN, crickets. They didn't mention it at all. It got more mention in that going fishing video that they did for the Celtics than it did on the.
That's cold-blooded. That was cold-blooded. They had them on the boat going fishing.
Yeah, and it was with the Titanic pose as well. I was like,
wow. We're just gonna keep you a couple more minutes, man. Any other thoughts regarding the playoffs?
I mean, yeah, it's OKC's to lose. The Knick fan in me thinks that they'll get to the final, but it's going to either way. It's going to be tough. I'm not ready to give up on Detroit yet. I know a lot of people still think it's like Cade, versus the volcano, but if they can still get stuff out of Tobias Harris, they've got a shot, because they play just as good a defense as anybody in the league. And this time of the year now, it's about matchups and half court and everything.
and they match up very well with the Knicks, Tony, and they hate the Knicks, man.
Hey, look,
Everybody in Detroit hates the Knicks right about now.
every
I don't hate them because you're my friend, so
everybody hates the Knicks for some reason.
everybody hates the Knicks.
I'm comfortable with that now. I'm just
The thing about
You can best believe
I
they
don't
hit
hate
them down here in Atlanta.
yeah.
Best believe we hit them
I
down
don't hate
here.
him.
I was amazed when Snyder did not get fired after that game.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's one thing that you lose 3 straight games, and 2 of them by over 30 points, and then at one point you go down by 61. Come on now, that's like I don't care.
It's embarrassing.
And Jamal Mosley gets fired. He plays the last 3 games without his second best player.
Wagner's hurt. Yeah.
It's like
If you look back at that series,
I've stopped trying to figure out what they do with coaches in the end. I mean, you got to remember, Doc Rivers was still drawing a paycheck not too long ago. So it doesn't. There's no rhyme or reason at all to me. I mean, even with Tibbs getting fired last year, I was very surprised that they cut him loose. A lot of that just has to do with the blithering idiot that signs the paychecks down there. But that's another hour conversation in and of itself.
You're not a big Dolan fan.
Yeah, they need to come back.
No, I'm a fan of his guitar, but not of the human. No.
Okay.
Well, Tony, brother, I appreciate you checking in, man. Outside the box, every Thursday, not this Thursday, right?
I just said Tuesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern, and I actually my weekend for MLB Bros coming up. I'm doing a feature on Taj Bradley, the pitcher for the Minnesota Twins, who won again last night. He's now 4-1. Did we lose Rick?
Okay. We lost Rick.
Oh,
It's just us. Okay. Todd Bradley.
We're here.
It's very rare that we talk about brothers and playing baseball because I keep looking on rosters, looking hard for them, looking hard for brothers on rosters, and then you find one you can do a story on. Hallelujah.
yeah. Well, Minnesota's actually got a few. You got Simeon Richardson. You got Byron Buxton, who was just AL Player of the Week. They actually have a kid on the farm, shortstop, who they're basically think that he might get called up before the year is over with. Culpepper, his last name. No relation to the former Minnesota quarterback, but he's one of the top prospects in all of baseball. He's got a possibility. Put it this way. They're looking for him to be their top shortstop by 2027, and maybe he gets a half a cup of coffee before the year is over with, depending on how well the Twins finish out the season.
That's great because it's great to see Buxton finally healthy. That brother, it's been forever and a day. It seems like he's breaking down every year, and so far.
And it's funny because they were in first place early part of the year. They've sort of leveled off. They still could maybe be a wild card team. It's still kind of early. I root for the National League representative out of New York. I don't even want to call them by their real name because they're not even because of the way that they're playing. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess.
A mess? You almost said it.
No. They're the mess now. They're a mess. I take the T away from them because they're a mess right now.
Now you're talking about the Twins almost were being in first place, and I was watching some video. I said, man, they're playing really well, and there's nobody in the building. But that night, I think the T-Wolves were playing, and the Wild were playing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you got to pick where you're going to be on a given day. But
and unfortunately, Minnesota in April is sort of like Alaska on every day. to the life of me, I don't know why they left the dome to play outdoors.
Right.
I mean, I don't get that at all. I don't get it at all. But it's they wanted to. I guess they wanted to be a little bit more traditional, but they're paying for it though.
Yeah.
Well, my brother, we really do appreciate you, man. Enjoyed
Not
the
a problem.
tremendous conversation.
Not a problem.
I'll catch you in a couple of weeks. We'll talk about the Pistons.
Yeah.
Knicks.
Are they having flags at half mast for Scuba?
Oh my gosh, the Tigers are a mess. He's one. They got about 10 guys on the injured list right now.
Is he now? Are they thinking he's coming back, or what's the deal? Are they?
Yeah, they think he'll come back, but now, because he's not going to resign with them, now his trade value,
Oh yeah,
he's injured. I mean, it couldn't happen at a worse time.
Yeah,
But he's only going to throw 6 innings anyway, so I'll never forget that. So
yeah. That's another pet peeve of mine, because it's like, come on, we grew up back in the day where you had to call the police to take these guys out of the game back in the day. And now they'll do their 6, maybe 7 innings and have the nerve to call it a quality start. I'm like,
absolutely, are you kidding me? But hey, man, we got to run, Tony. Thank you so much, my brother.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Anytime.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Oh man, Tony is so great. It was great having him on the show. We just got a couple more minutes left here. I want to get to the Met Gala thing here. First of all, I was gonna try to go, but the tickets were $100,000. I looked in my pocket and I had $9.30. So
This is the first year I haven't really watched it, and I've faithfully watched. But yeah, this is the first year, and I've seen some of the pictures, but usually I'm like all into the fashion and the style. But did someone stand out to you guys? Evidently watched.
Who didn't? Who didn't stand out? Nobody wears those kind of clothes.
that's what the whole thing is about, right? Standing out.
Like, come on, people.
This is
Oh man, she was stunning. I did see that. Yeah, stunning.
Let me start it over here.
Okay.
I don't know who this person was. Anybody know who this is?
She's an athlete supposedly, but I don't know. That's Russell Westbrook.
That
That's
was
a Venus
Russell Westbrook
That's Steph and his wife.
and his wife.
Yeah.
I do not know who that is.
Who that is?
Wade
Do not
and
know who
his
that
wife.
is.
D-Wade.
Oh,
It's Serena.
I didn't see her outfit.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm
then.
gonna slow it down. It's a little quick. That's Serena.
Serena.
Serena looking sharp, like she's ready to play beat somebody. Go back. That's
She's like a warrior.
Dwayne
Yeah,
Wade.
that's
Warrior.
That's
Gabrielle.
D-Wade. And Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Steph looking like he wishes he was playing in round 2 of the playoffs.
I don't know who that.
Hey, is
Venus.
Venus's husband? Is he an actor?
No, I think he's a business dude.
Oh, is he a business guy?
What?
He looks
Business
like
Yeah.
some kind of actor. I can't think of his name, but maybe not.
Natalie Whiplash? No, sorry.
Now, who is this tree?
I don't know. Isn't that the basketball player? What's her name?
Yeah, she's a basketball
I
player. I
can't
forget
see.
who.
Yeah, I can't-
Yeah, look, WNBA players making big money now, so they can afford those
Good for them.
those $1 million tickets, man. So that is definitely cool to see.
Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's trying to hide his kids in his pants.
Oh, dude.
Wow.
I mean, come on, bro.
I'm not going to criticize anybody yet. Keep moving.
I'm
Who
not
else?
criticizing. I'm just saying it. Look, okay, there's Dwayne by himself now.
Hey, he forgot his sleeves, didn't he?
Those are interesting pants, though.
Yeah.
Oh, I
He
guess
misses
it's
his sleeves.
Yes.
Going shopping again.
All right. I think we saw some.
It's Tim. Wait, Tim, maybe those sleeves went to Jimmy Butler's pants,
That's what it
the extra
was.
material.
He said, give me those sleeves. I got some use for it. Here she is. She's about to go conquer a kingdom. This lady here is
Mhm.
she's channeling Sally Fields in The Flying Nun. Kids Google it.
No.
This is the tennis player,
It's a tennis player.
Naomi Osaka. That's Naomi, isn't it?
Yeah.
Naomi.
Osaka.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. And so the outfits were based on sometimes different, art or photo paintings. I can't.
There's
So
a
that's
curtains.
that's a couple, right?
That's Steph and his wife, and I don't know who the other couple is.
I can't see. It's so tiny.
They're very tiny.
Picture.
Click that thing in the corner. Click that
Yeah,
finger in the
I can't blow it up, and I can't get it any larger than that.
corner.
But this thing's been going on since 1948.
Yeah.
Wow.
What was it like back then, Tim?
And
Oh no, I was still walking around the stadium. I couldn't find my seat.
and they raised money for the New York. They raised
Museum.
money for the
A
Met
lot of money.
and the museum, the Metropolitan Museum of Arts and
Mhm.
Costume Institute
Yes.
is the
That would be great.
beneficiary of all the money that has been raised there.
Mm.
And it was organized by Vogue back in the day, and they are still sponsoring the thing. So
Yeah, I saw
that-
Anna Wintour's outfit the other day, and I was like, man, when they say you're just a fashion, icon, they let you wear anything. Yes,
Wow.
it was not flattering. It
Wow.
wasn't.
who was that, Tim?
Anna Wintour,
To you, I thought she looked fabulous.
really?
You just never mind.
Okay, we're not gonna go there. So you have your eyes, your fashion eye. Me, I'm just pinstripes. That's what I do. Focus.
One more thing, guys, before we get out of here. The end of an era, I think. I think it's 100 Black Men of Indianapolis. That's
Right.
sponsored,
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah,
What happened with them? I missed.
the Circle City Classic was one of the
Oh,
premier HBCU football classics.
yes.
This up there with the Orange
Bayou.
Blossom Classic, the Bayou Classic. Those were the big dogs of that. And most for the time, it would sell out the Hoosier Dome. But last year they had 3,000 people there for the game between.
I did see that.
Yeah, I forgot who the schools were.
Morgan State and Miles.
Yeah,
People from Birmingham and Baltimore not coming up to Indianapolis for that game.
But Tim, thank you. I mean, they are disappointed with the turnout, but
Pick better teams.
they stopped picking better teams.
I bet if you got Prairie View versus Howard, I bet you would have gotten some people in there because Prairie View, Houston folks, they travel well, and DC people, yeah, they travel well. So I can see it being something like that. But just throwing out a black college name out there,
Right.
that's not going to be helpful.
How did you not see that? I think you got to have.
Did other teams decline, or how's that work? Did they get invited, or did other teams decline, or how's that work?
I don't know. That's a good question because I'm thinking it's like I went to the 86 and 87 Circle City Classics, and that's like 3 or 4 years into the thing, and it was like held at the Hoosier Dome, 70-some thousand seats, sold out. The Friday night before, Video Soul had their show live from the Circle City Classic. You have Donnie Simpson up there talking to these artists, and they had a concert out there doing that. I mean, they had the whole 9 thing. The press box was full of stars. It was one unlikely coupling that I saw was Jeanette Dubois and Flavor Flav hanging out together. So Walona and Flavor Flav hanging
Yeah,
out.
So dare I say, for that last classic, you get what you get.
You sure do.
Yeah.
This last
As
week,
far as teams.
yeah,
8 miles, you get what you get. When you
Yeah.
pick two teams who don't travel and ain't thinking about travel.
I also think the quality of HBCU football has waned over the years.
As the NFL is trying to tell us that subtly,
Yeah.
because there were
True.
no HBCU football players drafted this year. There was one drafted last year, and 2 years ago there was another one. So the last 4 years, there's only been one HBCU football player drafted. And they're talking about this is just the residual of NIL, because if you're really good at the HBCU football program, you're going to go to a Power 5 school, and you'll see the first round picks, second round picks, all Power 5 people, and some small FCS schools. You're not going to find the people at HBCUs anymore because those kids move up. It's like last week with talking to a D-Led. There's a kid from Morehouse basketball team was playing for Howard in the NCAA tournament. No longer at Morehouse. More money there at Howard. Case in point. Mm-hmm. John Ball has just come. John Wall, former NBA player, is now like head of basketball operations for Howard. So you got somebody, a former NBA player like that, working to recruit kids. I mean, it's the day for small college football, small college sports is being priced out.
Yeah. I'm sad we had the show tonight because really a great conversation with Tony McLean tonight, and we'll be back next week, and we'll do it all over again at our regular time on Tuesday of next week. But until then, for my friend Tim Turner and Tree McDougal, I'm Rick Hampton.
All right. Be kind, everybody.